Hi everyone, this is William from the Headphone Experience, and I'm here this morning with the Meze Audio 99 Classic. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I've heard it pronounced about 5 different ways, everything from Meze, 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 and Meze, but Interfidelity and Headphi are both pronouncing it Meze, so I'm going to go with that. Anyway, this is the 99 Classic in walnut and silver. It retails for about $309. It's a closed back headphone with a 40 millimeter dynamic driver in it. The ear cups are made of real walnut. The headband and the ear pads are made of what's called PU leather, which is basically a synthetic leather. It has memory foam inside the ear pads. It has what's pretty unique, I've never seen this before in any other headphone, it's a self-adjusting headband. It's basically sort of a spring-loaded type of thing, and it adjusts to your head automatically when you put them on. Basically, you just maneuver the ear cups to where they should be and self-adjust, and you're all set. The ear cups do swivel also, so it gives a nice comfortable fit. The ear cups are a little bit on the small side, but really, I don't have a problem with it. It's pretty comfortable. It doesn't seem to be really rubbing on my ears or cramped up or anything. So even though they're a little bit small, it's still comfortable and enough room for my ears. From what I've read, these are put together entirely with screws, that there's nothing glued together. So that means they can be completely disassembled and repaired if they need to be. A driver can be replaced or whatever. These are rated at an impedance of 32 ohms and 103 decibels at 1 milliwatt, which is very efficient. The cables are detachable. It comes with 2 different cables. First you have your short cable, which is about 4 feet long for portable use. You've got your 3.5 millimeter plugs, mono plugs at the headphone end. And then you've got your 3.5 millimeter stereo plug at your amp end. It also has a remote with a microphone on it. Then you also have a much longer cable. This is 3 meters, I believe, which works out to about 10 feet. Same thing, you've got your 3.5 millimeter mono plugs at the headphone end. And I did want to point this out because the left side does have a little ridge on it, and I'll explain in a minute why that's important. But anyway, also you notice that the diameter of these is pretty small, and the way it works, here, let me turn this so you can see it. The way it fits in here, it goes quite a ways in, so even though the 3.5 millimeter is pretty standard, the cable has to have a small sleeve on here to be able to fit into these. I did try the cable off of my Hi-Fi Man Sundara, which is also 3.5 millimeter, but it won't fit into the ear cups on the headphones, so it doesn't work with that. Anyway, both cables are, it says it's a Kevlar coating, which it feels real nice. They're pretty lightweight, not real heavy. Doesn't need a real heavy cable because it's a very efficient headphone, so not a lot of power running through it. Anyway, also comes with a 1/4 inch adapter and an airline adapter. And these headphones come with a nice case. Not really what I'd call a hard case. I mean, it's not going to protect it and, from something getting smashed or whatever, but it's pretty substantial and keep dust off them and all that, but it's a nice case. Also comes with a little pouch to keep your cables and connectors in, which fits in the case with the headphones. Where at? Oh, weight. Meze claims a weight of 260 grams on this, and my kitchen scale came up at 264, so we're very close on that, which is over 100 grams lighter than the HEADPHONE Sandara, which isn't that heavy a headphone, so this is a pretty light headphone, light and comfortable. As far as the sound, I did most of my review of that. Well, this isn't a review. This is just my first impressions. So anyway, my first impressions after I've only got maybe about 3 hours on these, but I intend to do a full review of and get more into the sound in a couple weeks after I've had a chance to listen to these. But anyway, what I've done so far, I've used primarily my Audio GD Master 9, which is sitting up behind my head, and I also have the Wells Audio Milo right now, but this is a super efficient headphone, and the Milo isn't ideal for super efficient headphones. It's outstanding for hard to drive headphones. It's great with medium efficiency headphones, and even efficient headphones work pretty well with it. But it's just not an ideal match for IEMs or super efficient headphones, and that's exactly what these are. These are super efficient, and I mean, we're talking IEM territory on the efficiency of these. So the Master 9 was a better match for these, so that's what I used. As far as the sound, the first thing that really stood out to me is I was sort of blown away by the amount and quality of the bass coming out of such a small, lightweight headphone. I mean, I hadn't really read much about these. I didn't know much about them when I got them, and I wasn't really expecting, you know, I was expecting really kind of a thin sound, and that's just the opposite of what I got with these. Just a deep, solid bass out of these, with good extension too. I mean, like I said, I was kind of blown away by it. I wasn't expecting it at all. I mean, these have some serious bass. As far as the tone balance, I would consider these warm, definitely on the warm side of neutral, but not dark. They do have a peak in the treble that gives it some sparkle. So warm, but not dark. Basically a U-shaped tone balance. We've got some emphasis in the bass. There's definitely, you know, emphasis in the bass, which would put it on, you know, the bassy side of neutral. And then the treble's emphasized a little bit too compared to the mid-range. So I would say a U-shaped tone balance. The bass itself, I would say, is strong, deep, solid. Not the absolute tightest. I mean, it does get a little bit fuzzy at times. In some situations, but like I said, I've only got a few hours in on these so far, so I haven't really tried that many different kinds of music yet. So in a couple of weeks, I'll go deeper into the sound of these when I've had a chance to listen to more. But yeah, just a deep, solid bass. The mid-range is kind of laid back in my opinion, especially the upper mid-range. It's not missing. It's just a little bit lower level than the bass or the treble, so kind of sets vocals back a little bit on the stage, especially female vocals. Some headphones, like I'd say my Kenner 10th Roars, which isn't a fair comparison at all. So let's say the HEADPHONE Sandara. The female vocals are more kind of right in my face, where these are set back a little bit. So it's kind of just a laid-back sound. The treble does have some sparkle to it. I wouldn't say it's bright at all, but it is there, and definitely in the area of cymbals. I would say probably around 8,000 hertz. There's a good amount of treble, and it does give it some sparkle. So even though it's a warm sounding headphone, it does have treble presence, and it's not dark sounding because of that. The imaging is really good on these. The separation of instruments is good. I can pinpoint where everything's coming from. The sound stage is not huge, but it's a closed back headphone, so I mean that's expected. I don't have a lot of experience with closed back headphones, but I do have a pair of Sony DJ headphones, and these definitely have a larger, wider, and deeper sound stage than the Sonys. So for a closed back headphone, I would say the sound stage isn't bad at all. Detail, this isn't an in-your-face kind of headphone as far as details concerned. The detail's there, it's just at a little bit lower level. I mean, compared to like, some of my other headphones, the detail's not as in your face, but it's still there. That's mostly because of the upper mid range, like I said, is just kind of laid back and a little less, in your face again. The mid range is just down a little bit from the treble and the bass, so the detail's there, but it doesn't jump out at you the way some headphones do. One thing I want to mention, one of the things I did notice is pretty much when you have these on your head, and first of all, they're comfortable. Second of all, as far as sound isolation, as passive sound isolation, they don't do much to block out low frequencies. Mid frequencies are somewhat blocked, more kind of muffled, but it does do a pretty good job of blocking out high frequencies. The thing I did notice though is anytime you touch any part of it, whether the headband, the frame, the cups, even the cable, it's kind of microphonic and kind of, you just pretty much hear it. Anytime these are on your head and you touch anything on them, it kind of directs the sound right to the ear cups and kind of amplifies it. Not to the point of being annoying, but I just wanted to point that out as an observation. So basically, my initial impressions of this headphone is it's not, completely neutral. It's more of a fun, laid-back sound. It's warm. It's basically, like I said, these things have an incredible amount of bass for such a small, light headphone. And I would kind of describe the sound just the opposite of a thin sounding headphone. If you think the Grotto SR80E is a thin sounding headphone, you're probably going to love this because it's just the opposite. I would say basically thick, rich, and creamy is how I'd describe this. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because this is just a first impressions. I will be back with you in a couple weeks with a more in-depth review of the sound of these when I get a chance to run some more music through them. So I'm going to wrap this up. Once again, this is William from the Headphone Experience. If this video has helped you in any way, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also come and join us over at the Headphone Experience on Facebook. Thank you.